The river had turned red, not with blood alone, but with light. Riku stood chest deep in the rushing current, fists raw, his veins glowing faintly with ember fire. Each breath came ragged, torn between fury and exhaustion. The cursed had retreated, their whispers fading back into the fog, but it wasn't victory, it was silence before a storm. The Kitsune crouched on the bank, her tails dim and heavy, foxfire reduced to faint flickers. She watched him with worry shadowing her golden eyes. "Riku," her voice was hoarse. "The ember is changing you." He didn't answer. His chest heaved. His fists clenched until blood dripped into the water. The ember's throb was louder than her words. "Break them. Break it all. You are not enough until you are fire." The rage burst from his throat in a roar. He staggered to the bank, seized the ember from the stone bowl, and hurled it into the earth. The ground split. The river shook, water rushing away as if fleeing. Cracks spiderwebbed across the clearing, glowing molten red. Ash spewed into the air. The forest groaned like a wounded beast. The Kitsune's eyes widened. "What have you done?" Riku staggered back, chest burning. I broke it." But the ember hadn't broken. It had awoken something beneath. The earth split open, and from the wound rose a colossal figure bound in chains of glowing metal. Its body was stone and ash, its chest burning with the same ember fire that writhed in Riku's veins. Its head was vulpine, jagged and cracked, eyes like molten suns, the war spirit. The air vibrated with its growl, a sound that shook the trees and crushed the breath in their lungs. Chains dug into its limbs, binding it to the earth. But even bound, it towered above the forest, claws dragging furrows through the ground. The Kitsune whispered, This is what came before us, the first flame. The one who burned the veil." The war spirit's head turned, its molten eyes fixing on them. "Thieves." The chains shattered. The war spirit surged forward, and the forest screamed. Riku was thrown back as a claw slammed into the riverbank, tearing stone like parchment. He scrambled to his feet, spearless fists clenched. Every instinct screamed to run, but the ember burned inside him, demanding he fight. "Riku, no!" The Kitsune cried, flames bursting at her hands. "We can't defeat this." But he was already moving. With a roar, he charged the war spirit, leaping onto its arm. His fists pounded against molten cracks in its skin, each strike bursting with ember fire. The spirit howled, swatting at him like an insect, but he clung on, slamming his fists into its body with rage-fueled strength. The Kitsune unleashed foxfire, arcs of searing flame wrapping around the giant's head. The forest lit up in a storm of fire and shadow. The war spirit roared, claws lashing. A single swing sent Riku flying through the trees, splintering trunks as he crashed to the ground. Pain tore through his body, blood flooding his mouth. He staggered to his knees, spitting red, and roared back at the Titan. "Is that ale?" The ember flared in his veins, brighter than ever. The Kitsune darted between the giant's legs, her tails igniting the earth with foxfire. Her movements were wild, desperate, each strike draining her further. "Riku," she screamed. "We have to flee before it consumes us both." But he didn't hear her. He couldn't. The ember had claimed his fury completely. With a final roar, he charged again, leaping onto the war spirit's chest. His fists struck the burning cracks in its body, blow after blow after blow, until his skin blistered and split. The spirit bellowed, its body shaking, chains rattling as it tried to crush him. The Kitsune watched, horror in her eyes. This wasn't just Riku fighting. This was the ember fighting through him, and she realized the truth. If the war spirit broke free, the world would burn. If Riku gave in completely, he would become its heir. The war spirit reared back, molten eyes blazing. Its claws rose to crush him once and for all. Riku screamed, ember fire exploding from his fists as he drove them deep into the spirit's chest. The clearing erupted in light. The forest shook. The mist screamed. The world cracked. The world had become fire. The war spirit tore itself from the earth, chains snapping like thunder. Its roar cracked the air, scattering the fog into streaks of ash. The trees bent as if bowing to its fury, and the river boiled, steam choking the air. Riku staggered, vision swimming, but his fists still burned. The ember's glow pulsed in his veins, urging him to rise. Kill or be nothing. Burn or be ash. The Kitsune landed beside him, her tails dim but flickering with stubborn flame. She grabbed his arm. "Riku, we cannot win this fight." His teeth bared, eyes glowing faint ember red. "Then we don't win. We survive." The war spirit lunged. Its claw ripped through the forest, trees exploding into splinters. The Kitsune shoved Riku down, and the claw tore past where his head had been. The ground shuddered as the beast struck, opening a crater. The Kitsune leapt high, tail spiraling fire into the air. With a twist, she hurled the blaze at the giant's eyes. The explosion blinded the spirit for a breath, and it reeled back roaring. "Now!" she shouted. Riku charged, fists glowing, and slammed into the giant's leg. Cracks spread through the molten stone. Ember fire burst from his strikes, and the war spirit bellowed in fury. But its retaliation was instant. The claw swept sideways. Riku had no time to dodge. The blow sent him flying, his body smashing through trunks until he landed in the river. He gasped, blood filling his mouth, the ember's fire flickering inside him like a dying star. The Kitsune screamed his name and darted forward, unleashing a storm of foxfire to cover him. Flames danced like living blades, searing the war spirit's arm, but they barely left a mark. The giant leaned down. Its voice rolled like mountains grinding together. "I am the first flame. You shh before me." It struck again, claws descending like falling mountains. The Kitsune wrapped her tails around Riku, dragging him from the strike as the ground exploded where they had been. The shockwave hurled them into the river, icy water swallowing them. "Breathe," she gasped, forcing him up. But Riku's eyes burned. No more running. The ember surged again, brighter than ever, crawling across his skin in glowing lines. He stood, fists trembling, body breaking, but his rage unbroken. The final clash began. The war spirit's hand descended. Riku roared and charged headlong into it. His fists met the claw in a burst of ember fire, sparks flying like meteors. The impact shook the river, sending waves crashing into the forest. The Kitsune leapt onto the giant's arm, tails spiraling with fire, striking again and again and again its joints. The beast howled, flames bursting from its cracks. Its movements grew wilder, thrashing, tearing up the earth. But every blow it landed shattered the world. Every strike Riku and the Kitsune returned shattered themselves. The line between victory and death blurred, and in that chaos, the ember whispered its cruelest promise yet. Burn him, become him, or die as nothing. Riku's scream echoed through the forest as he leapt higher, fists blazing, aiming for the war spirit's heart, an explosion of light about to decide whether the world burns or breathes.